Hello, and welcome to the Venue Coach Blueprint for Owners. I'm Kyle Labar. This podcast is all about helping you fill your wedding venue with more bookings, earn more from each one, and keep your customers happy for a long time. We'll also talk about some tough times and big lessons that I've learned along the way. Let's dive in together and make your venue the best spot for weddings. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Venue Coach. It has been a busy past couple of weeks. Last week was Thanksgiving, and the week before that was the Wedding MBA, which took up a lot of time, but really great opportunity. I was able to meet a bunch of great venue owners and discuss some of the challenges that they're facing and what's going on in the market so that we can help as many people as possible. So one thing that just kept coming up over and over again in those conversations that I just wanted to share with everybody. So the big thing that we focus on is the three pillars of growing and building out your calendar as a venue owner. And so the first one is lead generation. Second one is lead management. So CRM, automations, follow-ups, how well you convert those leads into tours. And then the last one is sales. And we found that it was generally a mixed bag with a lot of venue owners. Some venue owners have really great conversion rate, like 50% or higher, 60, 70%, that sort of thing. Some of them, not so much. Some of them were getting tons of leads, but bad conversion rates, or they have a CRM, but it's they just can't sell, or anywhere in between. And some of them only needed a CRM. Like they're really good at selling, really good at getting leads, but they just need to squeeze more out of the leads that they're already getting. And so the thing that I wanted to break down in this video is just the components of each of those and why they matter. And maybe it'll help you gain a better understanding of what it takes. So the things that we track, not just at our own venues, but with all of our clients, we track from dollar in to dollar out. And how we do that is we want to see how well we can get attention. And so that can be paid ads or it can be SEO. And how well we can get people to the website. Then once they're on the website, we track how well they can turn into leads. And that means somebody filling out a form, raising their hand and saying, I want to know more information, or I want to come out and tour your property. And then from there, how well do you convert those leads into a tour? How well do the tours show up? And then how well do you turn those tours into bookings? So the better you are at all of those processes, the more efficient your dollars are going to be. And the way you have to attack it is, where are you most deficient? So if we operate under the theory of constraints, which is we'll only grow to the bottleneck, then in your lead getting and deal closing abilities, you will only be able to close or get as much business as your weakest link in that whole chain. So it doesn't matter if you sell 70% of anybody who walks in the door. If you're only getting six tours a month, then you're only going to close 3 or 4 of them, or I guess 4. If you can get 100 tours to schedule, but only 20 of them show up, well, okay, bad example because you'd still be in a good spot. But if you can get 20 tours to schedule, but only 5 show up, it doesn't matter how many people you're able to sell, like what your conversion rate is. If you can get 10,000 people to your website, but only 10 of them turn into leads a month, then it doesn't matter how good you sell. And so I'm using the selling on this example, but on the reverse it. If you can get 50 tours and you can only sell 10%, you're only going to get 5 bookings. And I've had a client that actually was in that boat, and now they're not, which is great. But, they were doing 25 tours a month and asked for more marketing help, and I said, why don't we just get more sales? And so really it comes down to just finding what the constraint is. Once we help them with their sales, then we turn on the marketing, opened up that gate a little bit more. And so now they get 40 tours a month and they're closing 33% of their tours. And they're getting to a point where their conversion rate is not as important because the sheer number of bookings that they're getting is high, and that's what really matters. So when we take on any client, we want to look for where the opportunity lies to really get the most out of the efforts that they're putting into their venue and to their marketing efforts and to their sales efforts. So if you're not tracking those metrics, then how could you ever know? So the biggest thing that I'm a fan of is data. And so do you know how many people are coming onto your website? How do you do that? That's Google Analytics. That's going to be your best bet. That's going to tell you uh, within a certain degree how many people are coming on the website. And they'll be able to differentiate if you're running paid ads, Google ads, that it'll be able to tell you how many of those are from paid ads. And then from there, you know how many leads that you're getting. So how do you keep track of your leads? Do you use a CRM? We actually use something called the Booked Out Venue system, and that's bookedoutvenue.com, which is more of a CRM site than like a web page or that sort of thing. But what we use that for is not just keeping track of all of our leads, but anybody who calls, anybody who reaches out, anybody who has engaged with us at some point, pun intended, then you know that where they are, what they've done, if they've been on your website, what website, did they come from ads or not? And so then you can start to formulate a ratio of people who come to your website and then people who interact with you. And so maybe there's a weak link on your website. Maybe your landing page sucks, or it's not, maybe your website hasn't been updated in 10 years, or maybe you don't have a website and you're just sending people to like a Facebook page or something like that. So there's a lot of different ways that you can analyze this. And then once they fill out the form, how good are you at converting those into tours? Because that's the next step. So we want to have we want to have a conversation first. So how many conversations are you getting? And then of those conversations, how many turn into tours? So once you have the tours scheduled, how good is your follow-up? Or how well are they showing up? Tracking your show rate. So a good metric that a good ratio that we look for. Actually, I'll break that down at the end. I'll break down all the ratios that we've seen be quite good and good metrics that you can compare against. And then lastly, once you get the tours to show, finally, how well do you sell them into booking your venue? So really, the ratios that we like to look at. So we're always trying to improve. So if you're doing better in some areas, awesome. That's really great. So the metrics that we use to go by and the ones that we're always trying to improve just vary, and yours might be a little bit different as well. But we get in terms of website traffic, it varies by the client, but I'll just use the Black Oak, my venue, as an example. We get about 2,000 site visitors a month. Of those, we get anywhere from 50 to 100 leads. So what's that conversion? That's about 5% that turn into leads, which is okay. And then of those leads, we have total leads into tours. We get 15%. So we get a little bit more than that on the lead side. Because we get on average 19 or 20 tours a month. So, but 15% of our total leads turn into tours, and then from that we have 80% show rate on the tours, and then once they show up, we have a 60% booking rate. So those are the metrics that we track. And then I know I mentioned like conversation. So we are just setting up and implementing in our CRM a better way to track that. So that way it is easier to manage. But we're seeing typically about 20 to 30% of all the leads that come in will have a conversation with us. And then of those, we can convert a higher percentage. So it's like 30 or 40% of the conversations will turn into a tour. And really, how do you know which area to address and to improve upon if you're not tracking any of that? So I don't often do this on the podcast, but if you need help tracking that data, let's get you in. I'd love to show you our CRM and how we use it to track all that data, so that way you can start making better decisions for your venue, and especially on the area that matters the most, which is on your sales side. So let me know. Reach out to me. Drop a comment or hit me up, or you can go to my website, thevenuecoach.co, and I would love to show you how the CRM works. It is not expensive at all, especially for the data that it gives, as well as the automations that we provide and that we work on and we implement on all of our clients that help get more tours and more, of course, leads to more bookings. So anyways, that's my little plug. I don't typically like doing that, but man, there's a lot of options out there, and a lot of them are not designed for our industry. So if you need help tracking your data, please let me know. I'm happy to help. So anyways, that's the key takeaway I had from the Wedding MBA, was just there's so much room that we have to operate within those three key components. So the lead generation, lead management, and then sales. And breaking it down even farther, where are we deficient? And once we know where we're deficient, then we can attack the actual problem. So that's what I hope each of you listening are able to do, is find out where the problem actually is that you can unlock and get the better results. So imagine, and I'll wrap it up with this. Imagine that your weakest link is that you don't have enough tours. But why don't you have enough tours? Is it because your ads aren't working, where you're not getting any clicks? Or is it because you're not getting enough traffic to your website, which is also, can be ads, can be a SEO side of things. But are you getting enough leads? So you got to walk it back from the problem that you think that it is. So I'm not getting any bookings. Okay, how's your conversion rate? Is it high? Okay, great. What's your show rate? Is that high? Okay. What's your lead to tour conversion rate? Is that high? And basically you're just walking it back until you find the lowest thing that you can improve upon the best. And that's what we do to continue to improve, as we keep finding the thing that's the problem and then fixing it. But you can't find it without the data. So anyways, I hope this was helpful for you. If it was, please subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.